Hello, everybody. I'm Jillian Sidoti. That's Jeffrey Holtz. Jeff, the countdown timer was going, and I realized one of my pillows is on the floor behind me, and it got me very upset. And I was like, I can't get up to fix it now, so I'm going to do this.
I'm not sure that that's necessarily the kind of hook that we want to start the show. But, I'm going to learn a lot more about how to get people interested in our show when we talk to our guests today. What do you think about that?
I think that's amazing. Who's our guest?
I don't remember.
Her name
I'm just kidding.
Coach Molle, Jeff, from
Coach Molle, yes, from Visibility Hacking. I remember. I was just teasing.
I know you were, but visibilityhacking.com, and she teaches you literally how to become more visible, real, straight to the point, simple. I love it, everything about it, and I can't wait to see how we can make Last Life ever become more visible. And maybe you want your brand to become more visible, and she's going to teach all about that right after this.
Help me, my brother, can you lend me a hand as I walk through this land of confusion? If we give to each other, then there's nothing to take. Let's live life for the moment before it slips away.
Coach Molle, so great to have you here.
So great to be here.
I love that you have your own little circle and you're hanging out in a circle underneath us. It's pretty cool.
It makes it more visible.
Exactly.
So, Coach Molle, how did you get into this? How did you get into making people more visible?
Oh, it all started way, way back in the day when I used to have my own radio station or my own radio show on a little radio station in college. Well, long story short, I got maybe fired from my position for some internal political reasons, of course. But what I didn't realize, my time slot was over the middle of the night, so I didn't think anyone was actually listening to me. And then I got fired and realized there was so many people who were connecting to my message, because I ended up maybe or maybe not pulling up my car outside of the radio station and broadcasting over the station's broadcast signal so that people could maybe or maybe not connect to my show no matter where I was, pirate radio style. And I realized because of that, I was able to connect with this huge community. And we started talking about all of these different movements and things that people were passionate about. And I realized that when you connect people together, you have the ability to amplify not only your message, but your visibility. And that is where it all started.
What a great message. So connect people together and you'll get your message out. So what's it take to connect people together? Because you can connect people in a very negative way too. Absolutely. What do we need to do to connect people in a positive manner?
So I have loved being in lockdown over COVID because it's given me tons of time to hang out on all of the streaming platforms and just kind of spend hours and hours and hours diving into this $50 billion a year are generated in the streaming industry. And I was like totally a consumer of that for the last little while. And I've realized that there is a power in the way that the gaming community connects each other, the way that they utilize and create these deep networks of community members who not only are talking to the attractive character or the host or the streamer or whatever you want to call yourself, but also connecting to each other. They're pushing that movement forward in a way that is so incredible. Just imagine if small business owners and entrepreneurs and visionary leaders tapped into that power and used it on the platforms we're already using. At our fingertips are these incredible tools, and we just need to harness them right. And we have the power to totally change the world in the way that we do this.
I have so many questions. The first one is, are you a gamer yourself, or do you have a child that's a gamer, or do you not care and you just were fascinated with the culture?
I started in live stream radio, to be honest, where I would connect with these people from around the world for these, like, every Sunday we'd get together. We call them Sunday sessions, and we would have like 500 or 600 people on our stream every Sunday for like 6 hours at a time, just consuming our show, our one-way show. Then eventually we tapped into the technology of having chats. We could have a chat room going on. We could connect with our audience. Beautiful. So that evolved our to the next evolution of our show, where we started having our own websites and products, and we could make money off of these people who were coming to watch our content. And at no point did we ever have to sell ourselves out to sponsors. We only promoted things that were actually going to be solutions to the people in our community. We were connecting with people who were wanting to chill out on a Sunday, drink a beer, and listen to some music. And now we're using those same strategies, those same methods of communication, those same community building situations and structures to harness them for small businesses.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
incredible. Like, people who have those life-changing moments, talking about this incredible show, people who have life-changing moments, who realize that they are here on this earth to do something bigger than just transact. They're here to build relationships so that the world is better when they leave this world, whenever that happens to be. But when you realize that as a small business owner, you have a passion and a message to get out into the world, and you're not using the right technologies, you're not using the right messaging structures, you're wasting your time online. And your precious voice, your precious message is getting lost in the ether. And that is a horrible thing to me.
I really want to make this super simple if I could. I have a hairdresser. She's a fabulous woman, works really hard, really knows a lot about hair, cares deeply that you have a healthy scalp. Her whole thing is about healthy hair.
Nice.
And just knows more about hair than anybody I've ever met. And she starts doing my hair one day. And right before she starts doing my hair, I go, "Do you want to take a before picture?" She goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." And because my hair was a mess. And she goes, "That's a good idea." And she takes a before picture. And then I was like, "And the after picture?" And she knows that she should be doing this, but it's not doing it. And I know she has the skill set, because I really want to apply this to help other people, help everybody who's listening. What are some steps, really basic steps that I can give her to connect to her tribe?
First, before and after photos. Don't make it so awkward. It's not something that you should feel slimy about asking for. When we build that conversation into our businesses, into the way that we talk, we're actually going from having a business to having a community, to having a movement. Because we say, "Hey guys, I, as the hairdresser, or the hairstylist, as my hair guy likes to call himself, I am providing you guys with value. Not only are you coming in here and getting fantastic hairstyles, but I'm equipping you with the skills and the tools that you need in order to continue having beautiful hair between your visits with me. And what I need you guys to do is be on board with me with this process. And I need you guys to check in. Send me your photos. If you get your people to produce the content for you, it not only makes the whole slimy sales process, or asking for a referral, asking for a testimonial, go away, but you're also getting your people to buy into the movement that you have. They then take on an identity. And that is, talking about identities in our movements is essential to visibility hacking. Give your people something to be part of, something to identify with. So if her people have these incredible scalps, that is part of their day-to-day that's going to change. They are going to be the healthy heads. They are going to have a name for their movement. Think of, what would you wear on a t-shirt that would identify you, that you would be proud to be part of? Maybe they're not going to be t-shirts. Maybe they're like funky headbands. Maybe they're definitely not hats, because you have such beautiful scalps. You're not going to cover them up with hats. But give your people an identity, something that they can wear, a flag that they can wave. No matter what your business is, there is a common force that will bring your people together.
Wow.
Maybe it's not the tangible that you're giving your people. In this case, is that healthy scalp. Maybe it's something that's more intangible, like a feeling, a freedom, a time connection, something different like that. But there will always be something that will unite your tribe together.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's really cool. Jeff, I could see you taking notes. He's
yeah.
yeah. He's like, okay, step one, don't be shy. Tell them they have to do the process with
Step one is get people to promote your content for you. Step two, give people an identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Or produce the content for you.
Produce the content for you. Yeah.
Yep.
So where do you then, you're talking about streaming platforms, but let's just say take the streaming platform out of it, because I don't think, I could be very wrong, I don't think a ton of us are or at least a lot of our audience is looking to stream gaming. I know people stream other things. We're streaming right now, right? But they're not all looking to stream. What platform should they be on? Is there any right platform, good platform?
You raised the biggest misconception, and I'm so glad you do, because if you think that you are not using streaming in your business, you are sadly mistaken. So anytime you go live on Instagram, that's streaming. Mm-hmm. If you create live content for your TikTok that you later edit into something else, that's still, in our world, part of streaming. It's live video. It's being there authentically with your people. But we don't like the word authentically because it doesn't really describe it. It doesn't really encapsulate the experience. So here's some fun stuff. I love putting people in MRIs and looking at their brains when we tell them stories and stuff like that. But I love what happens when we create these beautiful environments for our people to connect with each other online. What's happening in our brains is the exact same thing that you experience when you're hanging out with your best friends in a park. Because, social distancing, we're still in Canada here. So we have these beautiful moments where our brains are full of these incredible chemicals, where we feel connected, we feel part of something, we feel empowered to move forward, we feel heard, we feel validated. All of these beautiful things are happening. But if we do it right, if we utilize the right strategies and the right technologies like live streaming, we can create those same experiences as we feel in person, in the flesh and blood life. We can experience those online, where you're literally losing track of time because you are so committed to this environment that you find yourself in with these people. And it's so cool. We just have to stop thinking about streaming as only being video games. This is the reality. If talking about platforms, if you're on Facebook right now, which a variety of different small businesses are, they use Facebook. It's a free tool at our fingertips. It's so powerful in the data that it gives us as business owners. And if you're on Facebook and you're looking over at Twitch and you're going, that technology is just for gamers. That's like totally just for those like Gen Zers or whatever you call them, the youngsters. And it's just for video games and filth. You're totally wrong, because what's happening is that Facebook is trying to become Twitch. Twitch isn't trying to become Facebook. What's happening is this curve, this beautiful use of technology, of live streaming technology, is being bought up by every single platform. We see this, or we hear this, in audio only platforms like Clubhouse. And now Spotify has their own audio app, and Twitter has their own audio thing. And that is live streaming as well. So we have to look at all of the different platforms out there, but realize the cutting edge is what is happening on Twitch at the moment. So if we utilize those same tools and strategies, we on Facebook will be at the cutting edge. If you don't jump on this train, though, you're going to be left behind, because this is happening so fast.
Are you saying that you recommend people study Twitch or use Twitch, or both?
So in the visibility hacking world, we use the super simple framework called scenes to help us look at what content other people are creating and recreate them for ourselves. So if we look at the screen that we have right now, we'll use the scenes framework to analyze it. So S for scenes. This is our sounds. We have 3 cameras on here. We have 3 microphone inputs. You also had some music earlier in your intro. Cool. That's what we analyze when it comes to sounds. Then we go on to cameras. We have 3 people in cameras. That's pretty cool. One person's kind of complicated with their camera, but we got 3 cameras. Then we look at energy. Do we have moving backgrounds? Do we have graphics that are moving around and catching our eye and catching our attention? When we see this in the streamer world, it's pumped up to 20,000%, but can we still utilize those same psychological tricks that are going to keep and grab attention? When we continue on, we look at N for non-moving objects. My porthole here is a great example. Simple graphics. Do you have your logo on your stream, for example? Mm-hmm. When people are scrolling by and they're not listening, can they still graphically figure out who you are? Are you separating yourself in terms of your brand in the content that you're producing?
I just realized as you're talking, no, we don't have our logo. Why? What's wrong with that?
That's because we were supposed to be using this one.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
There you go. All right,
there you go.
Fix that. Thank you.
And then we also look at engagement tools. So do you have calls to action that are built into the content you're creating? Do you have opportunities for your community members and your listeners to actually shape the experience of the show itself? So I work with some clients who have these really great followings on like a particular platform, and they'll post out some content, some questions or polls. And the answers to the polls will become part of the show. That will help shape who the next guest is or what the next segment is. It's giving your people a space to actually shape the show and the content that they're going to be watching. And then we take it a step further and we go back to our hairdresser example and we talk about the content that our people are actually creating for us. And then we put that into our show as well. And we can use, even though we're streaming live, that means it's a synchronous engagement. We also can add in pre-recorded content. We can have that beautiful intro. We can be like the news. The way that the news is produced is that your field anchors will go out and they'll create a pack, which is the cut footage and the voiceover that you'll hear for a couple moments, and then the live interview will happen. Well, that is a way to contextualize what you're talking about. It's a way to really pump up your guests, for example. Build a really cool pre-roll for any guests that you have that's going to pump them up, build up their authority, build up their influence, and then that will establish, because you'll have established authority, you can continue on live with that same level of energy that's really going to attract people to you.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So it sounds like a lot of work. Is that a lot of work, or can you, it's a hacking, so it shouldn't be a lot of work.
Oh, no. Okay. So hacking, I believe that any piece of technology, any platform is designed to be hacked. That means it's designed to be played with and tinkered and analyzed. All of these platforms give us beautiful amounts of data. So if we start tinkering around with our show and we try one little thing that's different, this whole thing started for me. The biggest improvement in engagement that I ever saw in the last, that I saw in the last year was when I changed my graphics. Very simple. I changed one color and I changed and added a little frame. Not this one, a previous iteration. And it was shocking how one little change grabbed so much attention. So if you think about it, I love to travel, and I know Jeff and I have talked about our wild and crazy adventures, but I'm a long distance hiker. And in order to hike 1,000,000 kilometers around the world like I have, you have to think of each journey as one step at a time. So when you're building and developing your visibility strategy, it's about consistently showing up and saying, right now, what is in my capability? What is within my reach and my resources to do and modify and change right now?
Back the truck up. You just said you hiked around the world.
But hold on, we've seen this as an example on this show live today. You simply were live, and instead of shutting it down and saying, oh, crud, I didn't put my logo up, you just fixed it and moved on. That's how we have to take this, one step at a time. Yes, my feet hurt just thinking about it.
1,000,000 kilometers seems like a lot. I think that's like 12 miles though, right? Something like that. I don't know. It's lost in translation.
Yeah, if it's anything like currency conversions, it's definitely something about that.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We cannot just gloss over this. This is the Last Life Ever program, and we'll bring you back to get into this more depth because there's a lot of to unpack there. But okay, what? Like, what did you do? Okay, you get to an ocean, and what do you? Let me just
I
answer
don't
that
think she
question.
said she walked around the world in a single walk.
As much as Forrest Gump is my favorite movie of all time, I did not pull a Forrest Gump and just decide to, walk to the ocean, turn around, and keep going for the next 7 years. No. This was an ongoing process, and it started many, many years ago when I have my amazing aunt and her partner, Uncle Stuffy, would take me on these beautiful hikes in the west coast of Canada, and I fell in love with going and exploring. And I've been a canoe instructor and I've been a rock climbing instructor. And so being outdoors has always been something incredible to me.
Mm-hmm.
And well, hiking, originally I got into it because I thought it would be funny that a person of my age in my early 20s would be hanging out with a bunch of like 80-plus-year-olds hanging out in the forest while they went mushroom picking, right?
Oh,
and I was like, but I like secretly love going and exploring these really cool places and seeing ruins of old power stations and little towns. We literally have these tiny little towns that used to exist that are hidden in the forests around here. And it was just kind of this like secret thing that I thought was neat. And then this person who I don't know why, but have you ever like slightly competed against someone with ever telling them you're competing against them just because you thought that something they did was cool? And so
almost every day. Go on.
So
I'm actually doing that right now. You guys are too impressive for me though, so I might have to bow out.
So I saw this person was hiking this beautiful trail. They would post these incredible photos and talk about how they're taking this giant trail and they're going to attack it one bit at a time over the next like 5 years, I think they said. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll do it in half the time.
Wow.
So I got the book, I got the trail book, and it's a trail that's it's one of the sections is about an hour away from where I live. It's 9 sections long. It goes from Niagara Falls to Tobermory along an escarpment. You can see it from space. It's one of the most beautiful hikes I've ever done in the whole world. Well, when you get into hiking one trail, you realize that these trails have friendship trails. So then you go around the world and you start hiking those trails. And then you realize that there are really cool ecological things that you want to see in the world. So then you go hike those. And then you become me in like 2011 when you're sitting there going, there's a trail that goes from one end of one country to the other end of that country. I think I'm going to go do that.
Which one was that?
New Zealand. There is a trail that goes from the very northern end all the way down to the bottom of North Island, across the channel, and all the way down to the bottom of South Island. And walking that on my own 2 feet broke me for like 3 days. I couldn't walk. My feet were so swollen. But I just took a break and I looked around and realized I am in some of the most beautiful, beautiful lands I've ever seen in my life. You're walking through farms. You're literally like waiting for the cow to cross the stream so that you can follow behind him. It was just amazing.
So the friendship trails, is it like I live in a town named Temecula, California, and Temecula has like 2 sisters towns, like one that's in like Norway. I might have this wrong. I'm sorry, people of Temecula, and one that's in like Japan. Like, but one I know it's in Scandinavia, and then another one in Japan. Is that what you mean? Like,
so sister towns are like an economic exchange thing. Mm-hmm. So take that idea and apply it to the environment. So that's it's the really idea that environmental stewards, those who protect the space of the trail, are connected to people of that same interest somewhere completely different around the world. Like South Korea, for example, is partnered with this trail. And it's just so neat. And that's a totally like out there example of something that I'm passionate about in my life. But to be completely honest, I have learned so many business lessons from hiking. Talking about friendship trails is realizing the importance of collaboration. If you want to change the world, I'm like one of those diehard environmentalists. Like I will chain myself to a tree like I did in the late 90s to stop a road that I drive every single day right now. But that being aside, I'm like a super environmentalist to the point that everything I do, I think about how things relate to an ecosystem. If it's the ecosystem of your business and the community that you're building, you have to nurture that properly. So in visibility hacking, we have this example of a tree where the roots of the tree are what we call your community. These are the people who are buying your programs, they're paying your bills, they're listening to your content, they're part of your groups. These are your people. And you have to have a wide base of people, just like a tree. In order to grow really tall and really strong, you have to have a decent root structure or you're going to topple over. And then talking about ecosystems, as we grow our movement or our business, we have the trunk of our tree. That's the core of our business. And we look around and realize we're in a forest with a whole bunch of other trees. We're protecting each other from the winds and the storms, and we're creating this beautiful ecosystem that wouldn't exist if we, the tree, were just standing on a cliff by ourselves.
Yes.
So when we think about business that way, we realize we cannot do this alone. So we have to look at creating collaborative opportunities in these beautiful communities of other businesses as well. So your hairdresser, for example, can connect to the local makeup artist and the local beauty photographer and the local picnic basket boutique, I don't know, and create these beautiful packages and products, but also create these referral networks, these deep community connections to solving their shared customers' problems. And and then you reach up and you have the leaves and the branches of the tree, which just as a business is reaching out towards the sun, towards that next step. Because if we fail to do that, if we stop reaching for the people and the connections and the resources and the next chances that are just out of reach, we fail as businesses, but we also fail as people who are continuing to grow in our lives. If we want to change the world, we have to continue to grow.
That's really cool. Okay, I want to give you the last word. I can feel where the passion is for Molle, and she's a staunch environmentalist. So Molle, if you were to tell our audience to do one thing to improve the environment, what would that one thing be?
Oh, reduce, reuse, recycle, man. No, honestly, it's go outside. The Japanese believe in this beautiful idea of forest bathing, the idea that in order to fill our mental health and to fill our souls, we have to go out and we have to immerse ourselves in the forests. So go out to your local forest, leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but photographs, breathe deeply and enjoy those spaces, and do whatever you can in your lives to protect those spaces for generations to come. That has nothing to do with visibility hacking, but it's honestly, if we want to survive as a human species, we have to have those spaces. We have to have that connection to our environment because it helps us connect better to each other.
It has nothing to do with visibility hacking, but everything to do with Coach Molle.
That has everything to do with Coach Molle. It also has everything to do with Last Life Ever, right? Living the best version of your life is about being true to your own values and protecting those values wherever you can. And so really, this is a visibility hacking thing.
Oh my God, it came full circle, just like Molly's like little avatar thing there. Oh my God. With that, I want to thank you so
Wait. We have one question. We have one question that we ask everyone at the end of every show, and we didn't give Molle but she's a huge fan of the show. She probably already been thinking about this for like months or years. We haven't been asking it for years, but it sounds like a good answer. So the question, Molle, is what does it mean to live the best version of your last life ever?
Every night when you put your head down onto your pillow, leave the world a better place than it was when you woke up. No matter what you do, every action, every comment and conversation you have with people, be there with the intent to make the world a better place today, tomorrow, and forever.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's the second best answer ever.
Oh my God! What the hell?
Oh, actually, I really don't know. I just made that up because I thought it'd be funny.
Just to be an ass. Oh my God!
Oh, I can't believe you just swore on our show. That's got to be bleeped out.
Okay, yeah.
No, we're not
right.
live streaming ever
Because
again.
there's a lot of
We're no
children
longer streaming.
under,
One thing I've
watching this
learned from
program.
visibility hacking is streaming is bad. That's your
Yeah.
All right, Molly,
thank you so much for
we have
being
to have
here.
you back, but the subject next time isn't going to be visibility hacking. I think our subject next time has got to be talking more about the trails, talking about hiking and how we can do more for the environment. Please come back. Everybody else, stick around. Thank you so much.
And
Molly.
also go to visibilityhacking.com and click the button to become
An official visibility hacker.
Official visibility hacker.
I already clicked the button, so Jeff for last life ever. Jeff, we'll talk about it later. But I think we need Molly in our lives.
We do need Molly in our lives. There's no doubt. We love you, Molly. I've loved her ever since I first met her several months ago, and I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you so much for being
Oh my
here.
God. Great guest, Jeff. Good job, Jeffy Jeff.
You know what I love most about Molly? She's dancing in the backstage. You know, she's doing like this kind of thing back there, which is what I always do when we do that music. So like she couldn't see me doing it, but I always do it every time. And she's back there laughing at us right now. I told you this was going to be a great guest. I'm so glad she's here.
You did tell me that, and I have got to stop coming into these interviews thinking that they're going to be one-dimensional. Because I'm always shocked.
Well, we always talk that. So like we always say, because she's Coach Molly, like, and we have a lot of coaches on our show. And I always say, I don't want to have more coaches, but I do want to have Coach Molly on, and probably, 3 or 4 dozen more times, because that's how awesome she is.
We only scratched the surface.
I know. We didn't even really get into visibility hacking. I mean, we didn't barely touch it. And then she's like, oh, I walked 1 million kilometers, which, by the way, for people who don't know the conversion, it's actually like 14.7 miles. It's not 12.
An ass. So, but listen.
It's actually like 600,000 miles. It's stupid. That's a lot of distance. We don't have any people that think in kilometers that watch our show, I don't think. Well, maybe a couple, dozen or 2.
I am overwhelmed with how awesome that interview was, and I really do want to talk to Molly offline and on the show
because
again.
We want to reach 1 million people. Like, I mean, that's something that we just declared randomly the other day, but we want to impact 1 million people's lives, and we need your help to do that. So the stuff that Molly was talking about today, that's part of it. Feel free to interact in the Facebook group and all that stuff, and share your wins and things that you're doing to make the world better. And also, it's super important to join our Kind Morning Challenge, which is coming up in just 11 days or 12 days, something like that.
Yes.
The 11th of July, whatever that is, the 11th of July.
Yes, we are going to come back. If you guys remember, we've done Kind Morning challenges before.
Our third Kind Morning Challenge.
Right. This is our third Kind Morning Challenge. It's a pretty robust challenge. 40 days
and 40 nights. It's like Noah.
Yes.
So hopefully there's no big floods this week, but so just a quick, because we got to go here in a second. I know like we got to wrap up, but Kind Morning, it's K for kindness. So you do 1 random act of kindness every single day. I for invest in yourself, which means spend 40 minutes working on something every day. Pick something and work on it. And build a plan. Don't just do something different every day. Like, come up with something and work on that skill, that trade. It could be meditation. It could be whatever. It could be learning to sing like Christina Aguilera. That's what Jillian's going to do this time, since she still hasn't done the master class that she promised us over a year ago.
You know what? I got to commit. And you guys, I need you to hold me accountable. Like I'm going to hold all of you accountable, and we should do this challenge together. It's so good. You're going out and you're doing an act of kindness every single day for people.
And it's going to be so much easier now if you're not in Canada and you're not in lockdown, because, now that we're starting to open back up, like we can actually do that. Like last summer when we were doing random acts of kindness, it was like, I'm going to say something nice to someone online.
That's exactly what we did almost every day.
Like, I'm going to donate $10 to this charity. I mean, it was fine, but it was, but now you can help the old lady across the street. Like that's an act of kindness that we weren't able to do last year.
No.
But only do it if she's been vaccinated. Just to make sure. Like, make sure you've been vaccinated, and so is the old lady. So check her vaccine card first, and then help her across the street. If not, just leave her on the street corner. And then anyway, then the N and the D from kind stand for no distractions or no drinking. So you can either give up drinking or you can give up distractions of some other kind of distraction, whatever it is that's distracting you. Like if you're Jillian, probably give up your kids for 40 days because no, I'm just kidding, Jillian. I love your kids. They're amazing. Anyway, so give something up for 40 days, pick something, give it up. I'm going to give up drinking.
I'm going to give up drinking too.
I'm doing it. I've been drinking too much the last couple of months, especially when we were in Puerto Rico, like drinking rum every day. It was just way too much. It was a good time though.
Pirates. We were like pirates.
I know if I had an eye patch, we would have been pirates. Well, I probably would have had to cut off one of my legs too.
Oh my God. And with that, everybody. So kindness.
Wait.
What?
Kindness, right? K for kindness, I for invest in yourself, N and D for no distractions or no drinking, and then morning for a morning routine that you complete every single morning. So kind morning 40.
We're gonna do some more videos on this, guys. We're gonna lead you through the whole process. We're gonna give you acts of kindness to do every day. We're gonna be there for you, and we want you to be there for us and for the community. So please tell us, what you're doing for your kind morning. Put it in the Facebook group. Invite your friends. If you have somebody who's struggling with getting back to life after lockdown, this is a great way to get back into society and practice acts of kindness. Jeff and I did a video this weekend on how to deal with difficult people because we're all going to have to start dealing with each other again, and that might represent some difficulties. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Jeff, any final words?
Oh, yes. The sage words of wisdom. I will quote Jillian Sidoti. Make sure to live the best version of your last life ever.